call this meeting to order, the Historic Preservation Commission, April 20th, 2023. For roll call, let the record show that everyone is here except for Colleen and Alex. And have we heard? Okay, so they might still show up. Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented, or if...
Or the agenda?
Or agenda, thank you. The agenda, or if there are any additions to the agenda.
Looks good to me. I move we accept it as written.
I second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Show that it was unanimous. All right, next, the approval of the minutes. We have 2 minutes, so I'm guessing we need to have 2 motions to approve each individually. So we'll start with March 16th meeting. If you've had a chance to read those over, I will be abstaining because I wasn't at the meeting. It looked like it was a great meeting and you guys did an awesome job, so.
Well, that's enough to approve it, right?
I move we accept the minutes as written for March 16th, 2023.
If I abstain, does that matter if there was a quorum or not? I guess my vote is abstention, so.
So technically that counts as
That would-
a non-vote.
Right.
You're
Yeah,
here.
okay, so we have a motion
I think
to,
So who's going to second it then?
You said.
Well, I'll second it then. I'm in a position of power.
all right, all in favor, signify.
Aye.
Aye. And 1 abstention, so 2 ayes, 1 abstention. March 16th minutes are approved. And now for the special meeting minutes of March 21st, which I was at.
You were at the special meeting? Oh,
I
you were at the
was
special
at
meeting, yes.
Special
Okay.
meeting, yes. I didn't present because Annie did such an awesome job.
She did.
I move we accept the minutes of the special meeting as written for March 21st, 2023.
All right,
I second.
and we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Record show it's unanimous. Thank you. So we'll move on to discussion items. First item on the agenda is the student internship.
I'm sorry for the confusion in your packet. So right after the March 16th meeting, you'll remember that was the meeting where I left early. Just a few days after that, Colleen provided me with the job description that you saw in your packet. And then she followed up with me at the special meeting, I think maybe with Annie, the 3 of us, and asked if I had forwarded it out to you guys yet, and I had not. So that is why I put it in the packet. However, I think we also attached, the unpaid internships 101 PDF was in your packet as well. So in addition to that, I have a letter from the city attorney. And I forwarded him the job description, and here's what he has said. Simply put, there's no way this proposed position would satisfy an audit. SAO, Department of L&I, or Employment Security. As framed, it does not reasonably provide training that is similar to an educational environment for a high schooler, which is typically achieved only in consultation with the joint administration of the program with the educational institution. When the city brought in an intern in the past for the planning department, it was done in consultation with Eastern Washington University with the student earning credits, with significant administrative process by the city and significant administration oversight by EWU. Moreover, most of these tasks are work of the HPC or city has expressed a desire to accomplish in the past and that largely fall under the duties and responsibilities of the HPC under MMC 1522-040, which strongly disfavors this as an internship because it displaces the work of the city or the commission. Happy to discuss with you next week, but I think the city should close any further thought of this as an internship and either look to current city staff or find a way to pay another employee.
Wow.
Okay, so I guess my question would be, maybe circling back to if we do want a student to be representative on this commission, is there a way to have them become a commissioner?
Okay.
As opposed to an intern, whether it's paid or unpaid. I think of this definition. And can we do even a short-term youth commissioners as a definition for this position as opposed to an internship?
I think we talked one time during one of our meetings about a requirement for high school students to have so many community service hours as well. I don't know if those could be, if that would be an avenue either, I don't know. I really didn't talk with him very in-depth about this after that, so I can certainly get back with him and ask.
And I guess a volunteer as well. I mean, if we could have a student volunteer, or like I say, a deputized commissioner.
Sure.
If that, because I do think it's important, it would be great to utilize, that student input and.
Okay. I will talk with him and see what he says.
Okay. Any other thoughts from you, Annie or Barbara?
I did have a thought, which it's gone now, but it just seems there's some mention of some connection with the administration of the school. Is that just something we should have done here, or could we do it to keep this alive? Like, could it be a part of a history class, or could we talk to an instructor or something?
I don't know.
Okay.
He said this, as framed, it does not reasonably provide training that is similar to an educational environment for a high schooler. And I don't know exactly what that, I mean, obviously I know that it doesn't look like a classroom setting, but I don't know.
Yeah, educational environment, was that the phrase?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like a work study experience, or a job shadow experience, or.
Right.
So it's just a matter of terminology. It seems like we should, like you were saying, volunteer or youth commissioner or something like that. If there's like room for compromise or debate there, that would be good to find out. It's just terminology. We can fix it. But if there's some other an educational, it's like, hang with us and this will be part of your education. Or if there has to be an assignment or a written project, or not work study, but some other extra credit, something that fits their terminology of an educational setting. We should pursue that.
That would definitely be interesting to reach out to the high school to see if any of the history teachers would be willing to offer that as like an assignment or extra credit to encourage students to.
I don't want to get the school involved until we know for sure that there is an avenue. But yeah, that was the impression that I got from the art teacher, was that there were, in fact, some teachers there that are very heavily invested in Millwood's history and have done research and stuff. So it may very well be something if we can figure out how to do it right.
Great. And we definitely don't want them to take your job, so our tasks away from staff. All right, thank you. Yeah, if you can go back to our attorney and see if a different definition would kind of pave the way for us to pursue this.
Okay.
right, next would be an update on the Millwood Trail signage.
This project is the project that goes on forever. I'm going to step away from my microphone here for a second and talk to you. So I think you know that I sent the signs off to the sign company quite some time ago. And they have finally come back to me.
Oh.
And she's asked me now for the authorization to go to production. So I have 4 of them here. The 4 that I'm confident with, maybe 5. Maybe 5. I have noticed some things. The QR codes are not on here. They look very different than the signs that I was given. They were edited for content and style, and also many of them just had too much on them for the sign and the realistic expectation of how long someone's going to sit there and read them. So this one I actually made a change to. I found this first plat map. This is the first plat map of Millwood. So I'm just going to run through them real quick. If you guys want to look closer at them.
Also, that's not the Clearwater's house, it's the Clearwater house.
Okay, so that's what I'll be looking
Stuff like
for.
that, yeah.
Will be some input like that.
Would you like me to maybe grab some red pens? Do we want to mark these up, or?
Yeah, that might be a good idea while we're,
Since we're looking at the.
Can we write on?
she's gonna get some red pens for you to
okay.
mark it up, yeah.
For some reason, all caps is really hard to read.
It is, isn't it?
She did change my font. She said the font that I had selected, I think you had commented on that when you had looked at them.
Do you want to cross off the S on the
Yeah,
letters?
it's fucking.
Okay, and here's
But with their professional work with signage, they know what.
And that's what I
Yeah,
said to
We knew
her.
that all along, they were gonna mess with it, so, you know, sometime in between 2017 and now.
Believe
Sorry.
it's been that long.
Yeah, I know she wrote the managers and employees. Okay.
I would say because these signs will be up for a long time and people walk the trail constantly.
Yeah.
They can always stop several times to
Right.
read a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's not like this is their only visit to this trail. and
Right.
They're not gonna,
Oh,
but I do understand, yeah, sometimes there's just too much.
That is my last name. Kate Esther Trees.
Oh, well, see, we were trying to give you a little credit. in
I
there.
know, old growth oaks, that's me. Ordinance. Extra space in there.
Will you mark that?
Yeah.
Do we even need this last line? It dates the sign as of 2022, the
yeah.
commission has approved 2 buildings. I mean, and
Yeah.
here it could be 3 or 4 buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Would
right.
you take that out of your way?
And are you thinking of putting the QR code back in? That could.
Well, that's a discussion we have to have,
So, right
because
there.
I don't have anything to attach to a QR code.
Got it.
And those are only going to be useful if we're gonna have web content.
Right, well, so everything that got pulled out can be on our web content, you know, after, putting it in a readable order. It's not like we have to come up with a bunch of new stuff, it's all
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think we need to talk about it, because if it's just random factoids, I don't know.
There were so many paragraphs and things that were taken out that, I think it's just needs to be pulled together and done, like a one-page document or some things that we, like a one screen.
Okay. Do we want to slow down getting these signs out?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, and if we don't follow through and there's a QR code that takes people to nowhere, then it's also.
Will they add it later?
Well, and who knows what the next technology is gonna be. QR codes might not even be a thing in another couple of years.
Oh,
We
gosh.
might have moved on to something else.
That's true.
Now, what little going in there? That looks like it's blank.
Oh, the little dot.
Those are to indicate the bolts that are gonna bolt to the, so it's gonna be printed.
No, I'm looking, this visual, is something that we added, like,
Oh, this is the
No.
historic district.
The visual I replaced that, because the one that was included on the original sign had a lot of little, like, bloops that said Clearwater House.
Oh.
Da-da-da.
oh, yeah.
So that's just only meant to show where the historic district
I
is.
see, okay.
Yeah,
And as long as the street signs are there, so people know that if they,
Right.
what's in and what's out.
Okay.
this one I found these in my stuff,
Oh, good.
so I put that in.
That's cool.
There was, I believe, on this one, a fair amount of talk about the railroad tracks at Trent, and the mayor was like, that's not in
It's not
Millwood.
in Millwood, yeah.
So, this one had some changes.
Washington Town, fourth class.
Class.
Like,
That's, okay.
first class.
We're also, Town Council. So cool. Doctors and dentists. Several new businesses, doctors and dentists. It's not more than one dentist, right?
There was a doctor and a dentist up there.
Oh, a doctor and a dentist.
Yeah, there's two.
All right, so let's go, doctor and dentist. That's even more funny, there's only one of each. Dr. Pierce, Dr. Sachs, how much you look all, little spine up. That's weird. Can that be, the M should be with the L.
Okay.
High stimulants, hardware and melting. Okay. Pretty. Architects. Yeah, I know, it's three, it is three architects, it's optional, I can see what you want. Probably charges $10 for. It's not that big a deal.
Well, it's not.
Or if we said architect rendering, that would be, then the English teachers would have less to fight about. So architect rendering, because when we say architects, it does need a bit apostrophe, it's just architect rendering.
Yeah.
So it's part of
Yeah.
this image.
Oh, that's right.
And if that's the case,
Well,
we'll just leave it for you.
that's fine.
His face.
Is that readable?
Mhm.
Designed by Spokane architects, that's just plural, Eddie Carlson and James. Municipal.
just had neck surgery, so I
Oh,
can't stand up
no.
for very long.
You're losing your hair.
When did you have it? A month ago, tomorrow.
What did they do?
He opened me up here and a big long back here.
No. Split
So
levels.
it's the, it's the fourth neck surgery I've had. This is scoliosis, and there's an echo curve in the neck, so there's the big curve in the back. And they opened it up and put in an artificial disc, so that's the first time I've had that, and then a plate. And then on the back, they put in a couple of rods.
That's what I'll probably have to have done on my lower back.
I was gonna say about that, she's got scoliosis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my lower back is almost a 45-degree, and it's not getting worse, but they anticipate as I get older that it's gonna start causing problems, so they're hoping I can make it to like 45 without any pain. I have some discomfort now, so I
You didn't catch it when you were a child?
They did. My doctor at the time told my mom that I would grow out of it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I know, I had an old employer that was on the Shriners board, and he was like, you should have gone to Shriners, they could have,
Yeah.
fixed it,
There's
but
so many things they can do now.
I know, it's
Oh.
such a bummer that we didn't, so I do a lot of yoga, I see a chiropractor, I do physical therapy, and I just
Things like that.
try to stay in good shape.
Good.
So, but yeah, eventually, they will probably be, putting rods in, at least in the, I have an S curve, but the top seems to be okay. And I'm fortunate my hips are level and my shoulders are level, so my
Okay.
body compensated.
Oh, good. I got marked down in home ec because my dress fit funny, because my hips weren't level.
Yeah,
And she marked me down. That was before they were even talking about
The land
scoliosis.
located
Right,
just
yeah.
beneath the trend.
I remember getting the scoliosis test when we were kids.
Yeah.
You have to,
That was so
put your
good.
toes and rub your back.
Yeah.
I just did that to the kid.
I know, I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
I think it only caught your top half though, I think you're okay.
Well, last passenger train on July 13th, 1940. Too bad. Wish it was still working. Conserve resources. Yeah, let's see.
So this one needs to go to West Valley. Again, there were quite a few changes. I don't think it oops the content too much, but there were a couple of photos that were removed. And so the mayor would like it to go back to West Valley. I wanted you all to look at it first.
Is there a specific person they were working with?
I don't know the answer to that. I think it might just be the superintendent,
I never can remember how to spell dates.
it can look weird, can't it? It's got a lot of,
A lot of double letters.
yeah, double letters.
Assembly of Architects, White House, and Italian Romance for Williston.
Is there an extra space here, or is that just, I'm looking at it upside
I
down?
think probably.
This is,
Oh,
needs to be balanced out
yeah.
better.
Let me see. Okay, so this one, what's the centerpiece? Is the centerpiece one word? Centerpiece?
Yeah, I think so. When you tear down a building, it's not being raised, it's being.
Oh, I can't wait, let me get that.
Yes.
RAZD, carbon plan and archery establishment, building was raised, R-A-Z. It's so fun for a spelling
What
test.
did they write?
Raised.
Oh, did S?
Yeah,
Oh.
before the building was raised.
Yes.
Like they lifted it out, they levitated it.
Yes.
Is that it, can you say that?
Or change it to levitated. Is that locked?
No. West Valleys.
I realized I left the phone on,
Mission is.
so it was ringing.
Boom, we're done.
Okay,
Yeah, I want to get a chance to look at those.
I will translate these changes onto something to send back to the sign company. She did send a couple of the other ones. The one for the tribe will need to go back to the tribe
Good.
because changes have been made. Again, nothing content-wise, other than editing out maybe some stuff. The subway one, I think there's still a question about that photo that's on there.
Is copyright or what?
No, just that it's so
Oh, it's not good.
bad,
Yeah.
yeah. Originally, she thought she could use it, but we're still working on that one. And then there was one more, and I can't remember what the title of it was. Well, there's a couple more, because there's the IEP. That'll need to go to them. And then there was one about a woman, like the first woman businesswoman or something.
I remember that.
I'll have to find it. I only have hesitated on it because Jane Singleton from the Spokane Valley Museum was here one day, and I showed the signs to her, and she questioned some of the information. And so I just want us to be sure that we've gotten it right. So, but I figure if we can get 5 of them out this year, I think that would be good. So I'll get those off, and then I'll get those other ones to you maybe at the next meeting, and we can look at them.
It'd be nice if the subway is so cool, the fact that the old timers still remember it and that it was there. So maybe we could do like an ink illustration that would translate to, like a, it's not a photograph, but a drawing that would represent it or something that would work better
I
than
wonder
the
if
photo.
Betsy would do one for us.
I wonder. She's an
She's really
artist.
talented.
She
Sure
is. I bet she'd do it.
Okay.
All right, and do we have an update on the student mural artwork?
Not unless you have questions.
Okay. Timeline maybe? What's the timeline of it?
We don't have a timeline right now, but I do have a meeting with the temple, head of the Temple Association next week.
Oh, good.
Is there a process being put in place for the selection of which one?
It's just going to go to the city council.
Okay.
So the city council's got quite a bit coming at them in the coming months. So, yeah, I don't have it on their agenda yet. I want to make sure that we are in an understanding with the building owner. The Temple Association responsible for the building has changed leadership in the middle of this process. And so we're meeting next week to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
All right, and if you need some direction in maybe how to affix it to a building or something, yeah, let us know. Thank you.
Will do.
All right, next for discussion items, the promotional ideas for historic preservation, and I'm guessing that's Historic Preservation Month, or?
Well, this would be, I
Oh.
think we need to talk about Historic
Right.
Preservation Month, and that isn't on here, but we should talk about that. But we were thinking more like your handouts at the farmer's market and that sort of thing, if anyone had come up with anything. I did give Bobby those big negatives that I had showed you guys of the Texaco at the corner. She said that she had a program or equipment or something to convert those to photos that would be far better than what I had done, which was fine. And so I gave those to her at the special meeting. And so I know we had talked about maybe turning that Texaco one into like a postcard that we could have at the market. So I'm kind of planning on that, but those postcards are pennies. So there's plenty of funds if we wanted to do some other sort of handout.
I went to the Northwest Anthropology Conference last week. We had a part of our swag was just simple tote bags with their logo on it, Northwest Anthropology Conference. It must have cost like $7, and they just, they were giveaways for our registrations. So everybody likes a new tote bag, so that's an idea that we can have at the farmer's market.
Yeah, we also talked about maybe taking the historic photographs or architectural renderings and creating coloring pages that could be part of a
Yeah.
city public works coloring book, or are you still doing a coloring book, or do you already have one?
Well, I have the one that we did last year.
Yeah.
I paid someone to do the coloring pages off of photographs, and then we just have a binding machine thing that we made them into books.
They're pretty popular.
Yeah, they seem to be. The woman who did them for me, it was an Etsy shop who converted the photos into the coloring pages. It wasn't a very long turnaround at all, and it was very inexpensive. We're late in the game here, especially for Historic Preservation Month, but maybe it would be fun to do one that's historic houses of Millwood, and then take, some photos of 7 or 8 different houses. That would be an idea. Mine had like, yeah, so mine, I can show you the pages that I had, because I had the water tower, I had the corner door, the fire station, the park, the Christmas tree. So I was kind of all over Millwood, no specific theme, but
That would work well for a calendar as well.
someone else has got a calendar under control. We'll talk about that later. But I think it was a really good idea, or it was a really popular, it seemed to be, with the folks who came by the booth. So if that's something that we want to do, we could talk about how we want, what we want it to be, and what landmarks or buildings we want included in it, and then get some pictures. And
Okay, or definitely there are 2 properties that are on our local register, and if we already have photographs that are part of the nomination form, that might be easy just to pull off. And anyway,
I want to real quick see if I can just find my pages and show you what they look like. But I don't know that I'll be able to, so let's see. Kid stuff. Okay, so here's one that I had. That was for the farmer's market, obviously.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
That's just supposed to be Dalton. Well, you could tell her that we're in a meeting. That's the Millwood Trail.
Nice. Park.
And those reasonable tax.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a bag like that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
That's really good. Easy to color. That's
So that's all of them. When
a
I,
lot.
yeah, it was a good little book. And then what I additionally did that I won't show you, but like I did I just Googled like a word search generator. And then I did a word search of streets in Millwood. So like all the tree streets and all of that. And then I did a like crossword puzzle that I think of Millwood businesses. So there were like some activities in the book and then the coloring pages. And I asked her specifically to really simplify the photos so that they would be good for littler kids.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I can think of 3 or 4 houses right off
Yeah.
the top of my head that would be good coloring pages. And so we can work on something like that if you think that's something you'd want to do,
For historic preservation booth.
if that's what you, yeah, whatever you want
It
to
would
do.
just be, again, incorporating the theme of preservation and the built environment into like all of the
Yeah, that would be
the nice
great.
giveaways that we have. And specifically our booth, I do think, yeah, postcards. with
Postcards
the-
for sure. Those will go like hotcakes.
And I do see in past minutes that Colleen had volunteered to look into that. But
To what?
to looking into postcards,
Just,
or in
postcards.
getting the historic photos
Oh,
that
okay.
could be made into postcards, but,
Well, it's already made, so.
yeah.
I think the
So-
postcards we could get in pretty short order. I don't think they'll take long if I can get a good photo from Bobby.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll shoot her an email tonight before I leave and just say, you know, if we could even just get that one,
Yeah.
we can get that going. So,
Trying to think of some others that
The
don't.
lead times on the postcards are like 1 to 2 weeks, and we're looking at 10 to 60 cents each, depending on the quantity ordered.
okay.
2 weeks? Okay,
Yeah.
so this would be for the farmer's market, right?
Right,
Which opens middle of May.
right.
We
but-
don't have a booth there till June though.
Yeah,
Okay.
We don't, it opens at the very end of May. So we don't actually have our booth until
Oh,
June.
Okay. Okay, that's probably soon enough.
We can have a different postcard each month at the market.
We could, yeah.
And have people collecting them like
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Yes.
Pokemon.
All right.
Put them on the refrigerators.
Yeah.
Well, that, you know, I don't know. I run up against a little bit of a trouble. I always have great contest ideas. But the problem with the contest is that there's an expectation of a prize at the end, and I can't really buy a
It's
prize.
technically not a contest.
Right. But another thing I think would be fun for kids, and it's probably too late to do this now, but, and I know of other things we've talked about, but like a scavenger hunt, like find the rosebush house and snap a photo or whatever. But I have a hard time with always framing it as a contest and needing to figure out how to not do that. So anyway.
yeah, frame it as a scavenger hunt, and then if you complete it, you get your name on a list and you can compare yourself to who else did it or not.
The other thing that I've wondered about how to do would
Prize.
be like a coloring contest of the pages, you know.
Yeah.
Take a page, we'll have a coloring contest, but then what can I offer? I'll put your page on the website.
Yeah.
It's hard to do it. So anyway,
Physical, like bags of candy or something.
something, yeah.
Physical prize. Yeah.
Well, it'd be nice to post it on the website. That would get people coming to the website.
Well, listen, as we're spitballing here, it might be enough just to say, we'll showcase it on our social media.
Yeah.
That might be something. So we can talk those things over, but I'll follow up with Bobby on the photo of that Texaco photo, so we can get those postcards.
Have you ever checked out making lanyards with City of Millwood or Millwood Historic?
I have not.
Because I was thinking that sometimes at swag at conferences, you get, you know, a lanyard
Mhm.
with a thing and with your logo on it, and then there's like something in there, you know, some activity, like especially if it's aimed at kids. There's some things that could be in the tote bag, you know, that they could take with them, or just a plastic bag or whatever is expensive, you know. So they would feel like they're getting like 10 things with a couple of pieces of candy. And,
Right.
You know, so, or fruit, whatever the thing is.
Leather.
These days.
Something healthy.
Right.
An apple, yeah, blueberries.
Right. Okay. Denise happens to be very interested in looking for promotional items, so
Keychains.
she'll be on that.
Those pins, people love those.
Those
pins.
kids especially love the pins.
We've
I could see them
ordered-
really decorated with all those
Yeah.
We have ordered, so the pins actually are ordered for me to take to the clerks conference, which is the third week of May. But I don't give out as many as we order. So that's kind of where they came from. And there was a stockpile of them. I'm shocked by how much people love those. So Denise did this year's. It's really cool. It's got an old-fashioned car on it. We've ordered them. They haven't arrived yet. But yeah, I order them now knowing that they will be on your table and that people really do get excited about those. So this year's is really cool.
Great.
And we do still have all of those old ones with our original logo on it. We've got a bag of about 40 or 50.
We may as well put them out.
So those-
You never
we
know
should
what
put those
people,
out too.
will like, so.
Yeah. Yeah, good deal.
All right. And I do think that it's probably too late to plan any Preservation Month acknowledgement other than what was in the newsletter, which I thought was great. Maybe something that could be on the reader board
Yeah.
in May, just saying.
Millwoodhistory.com, or just, you know, something simple.
Well,
Yeah.
well, I don't know. I mean, maybe we use those postcards in a different way as well. Maybe we have writing on the back that says May is Historic Preservation Month, put something on there and mail them out to everyone in the city. I mean, the more you buy, the less they cost, and I don't know. If you'd be interested in something like that, we could probably put something like that together.
Cool.
Or we'll just put it on the website, or not the website, but the reader board, and obviously in the newsletter. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
somehow inform them that there's a lot to explore on the website.
Yeah.
I think driving people to the website would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, why don't Denise and I, in the next couple of days, work up this postcard idea that we could send out to all the residents? And I think that's a good first step.
Yeah, so just so, these postcards would be, would specifically say May is Historic Preservation Month. And
Yeah, I
They
think
would go out to all the, okay.
Right.
So then the other postcards would not have that on them.
No, I don't know what we might put on the back of those, if we wanted to put even anything on the back of them.
Let people just use them as postcards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's cool.
okay.
Just talking about mailings, I know that we reached out to property owners or homeowners, building owners within the district, just, again, in educating them that they live in a historic district. Was there any feedback or response from anything that went out?
No.
Okay.
Another idea I had possibly with that in mind, was maybe a magnet that could say, my home is located in,
Historic Millwood.
yeah, and maybe that would be something that we could distribute to those folks. that's not it was just an idea that floated through my head. Lots of ideas float through my head. So,
Well, just knowing also that the student mural artwork had so much, I think all of them in some way had a historic element to it, that once that is selected, we could use those for coloring sheets or magnets or
Postcards.
postcards.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the one isn't on that building, but the others are
right.
still enjoyed.
Yeah.
This is circling back to that subject. We kind of didn't discuss this, but I did want to ask you all. I was super impressed with the artwork, regardless of what you think about the project. Were you as impressed as I was? I thought they did a really good job.
I do not want to choose.
I know.
I think, okay, I was going to save this, but since you brought that up, why can't we put them on, or have them put on some kind of media board and have them on the trail? So they'd be protected from wind and weather and sun and or whatever, and have them so that everybody can enjoy all of them.
So the mayor came back to me after and was like, okay, what is your plan here? Are we going to do this every year? And I'm like, no. But he said, you know, that in talking with the school administration and stuff, you know, there was an excitement about it, and would it be offered to other classes or whatever? And you know, I mean, I said to the mayor, you know, we could get one on the pump building in the park.
Yeah.
You know, that's our own building. So I say this over and over and over, but I just think the high school is an untapped resource, and I think these kids have proven it. I really enjoyed their presentations.
Yeah.
I gave them very little direction. I said it needs to be like a welcome to Millwood or a welcome to the historic district. I don't want any political anything. I don't, you know, it's a waste of your time to use wild colors and all that. And I really felt like they delivered. So, but yeah, you're right. We could potentially use those other murals for another purpose. So that's a good idea. I'll keep that in mind.
All right. Anything else on promotional items before we move on? Okay, next, staff report, if you haven't already reported everything that
I
there is to
haven't.
report. So.
I've got a couple things. As I said, the clerks conference is the third week in May, so I won't be here. But I'm going to entrust you all to Denise. And thank you all for the March meeting where you allowed me to leave and go see my daughter get her band award. That was very fun, and I appreciate that. So, you know, I'll do my normal thing with you where I get agenda items, but Denise will be here that night. Kind of piggybacking on that, so I want to tell you that I reached out to Tribe Media. Denise told me that in your March 16th meeting, you decided that the next video you would like would be with some of the footage of Shireen and Shireen's house. And so I reached out, no, listen, I completely forgot. And then Denise reminded me, and I promptly forgot again. And it's been a little crazy around here. Then James from Tribe reached out to me, and I said, yes, they want another video, they want Shireen's stuff. And he said, okay, this was late last week, I'll start going through the footage and see what we can put together. So Tribe is working on that. So I wanted to update you on that, and then piggybacking on that, I want to say that I'm going to try a little something with this commission, and that is, I will continue, obviously, to be at the meetings and to be the staff person, but I am going to ask that you use Denise as your point person. And we'll see for a while. I feel like you will get better care and attention than you have been getting from me. And I'll still be involved, I'll still be here, all of that. But when we're talking about things like promotional items or reaching out to Tribe, I feel like you'll get better and faster service with Denise. So all the same rules apply, no group emails where we're chatting and that sort of thing. Anything that goes on, Denise will run it past me first. But just in an effort, I feel like you guys kind of get the short end of the stick when it comes to me. And so things like this, reaching out to Tribe and getting that going and stuff, I think has suffered for my workload. So we're going to try this out and see how it goes. And other than that, I don't have anything else unless you have any questions for me.
I would like to follow up too with the corresponding or however you're communicating with Tribe, is that we did eventually want all of the footage. We want copies of all that, and how is that going to come to us and can it be stored and all that?
Yes, and I have talked to them about that a number of times and have not gotten anywhere. So I will. When I hear back from them on this video, then I will say, and I, I'll be honest with you, I kind of feel like a little bit maybe Andrew's in the same position I'm in, where he's got so much work that that's sort of just falling off. So maybe if I go through James, maybe then, they were talking about like airdropping it to us or whatever. And so I understand there's quite a bit, which is,
Yeah, it's a big file.
It is,
take up a
and
lot,
it
but-
would be great to have. So I will follow up with him on that.
Thank you.
Or tell Denise to. Whatever.
So will Denise be doing the staff reports in the future too? I'm guessing.
I don't know. She's already doing the agendas, pretty
Yeah.
much herself. And the minutes, obviously. So it may be, or maybe we'll tag team, I don't know.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. Are there any remarks from commissioners?
Yes.
Barbara?
We always talk about the historic district, and people understand that that's a isolated part of Millwood. And I'm just thinking about community pride and what we've gone through with the folks on Empire, that maybe we recognize the other districts within Millwood, and like a sign that would be, welcome to the Empire District of Millwood. The hooker district of Millwood. And I don't know what the others are called. The ones on Riverway and those areas.
So does street signage and things like that fall under planning commission, city council?
I think it would depend on what we're talking about. I think if it's, like the green signs that say, welcome to the city of Spokane Valley, that just attach to our normal street signs, I think that probably is just Public Works with our budget paying for them. If that's what you're thinking, I don't know. Barbara, if you had a picture in your mind of what you were thinking.
Just some sort of recognition, just so that all the neighborhoods around the historic district feel like they're valued too.
Yeah, I mean, if that's, I think, we need to come up with something that I can show, but
Historic East Millwood or something like
Yes.
that, yeah. Because there are homes over there from 23, 26, the 30s, so that would go a long way.
Well, I know as we explore more about getting signage to designate the historic district and what those would look like and how they'd be attached, maybe we just expand that signage project to look at something that we could do for certain neighborhoods.
Yeah.
well, and I think, I've said this before, I feel like I say it every meeting, but it's been brought to my attention very much over the past few months that there are some really hard feelings on the east side, and some feelings of neglect The home that is involved in this matter is historic, or, would qualify for that.
As far as year.
Yeah. And so, it might be worthwhile to figure out some sort of public outreach that goes to that side of the city, And in speaking with people, I've gotten a lot of this feeling that they're less than, that somehow they're considered less than. And I know I've talked about this with Annie, and I've said,
There's like an email group. There have been people attending last meetings, city council meetings. With, not knowing if they have permission to speak or not, there's some confusion about that.
okay, so let me clarify just a little
Yeah.
bit. I'm not talking about coming to a city council meeting to complain about what's going on in your neighborhood. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about getting involved and learning about it. And in the case of this commission, yours wasn't the only letter that came in that referenced how old that home was. And so I feel like if there is a desire for the folks on that side of town to prevent this kind of thing happening, and their houses are eligible, but what's happening now is what happens every time, everywhere in the country, is something happens, it upsets people, they come down, they get mad, they stand at the podium, or don't. I think the mayor's pretty clear on letting people know when they can speak, and then they leave, and I never hear from them again. So after it's all said and done, I can't get any momentum out of that. And that's not specific to Millwood, that's everywhere, People are very busy and they work and they have kids. I completely understand, but I wish we could get some more involvement from the east side, because I know personally, I don't think any differently about the folks who live in the historic district than I do the folks over there, and nor do I do my job any different depending. So it would be nice to get some folks involved, maybe through the historic preservation of some of those homes over there. Maybe that would be the way.
It's being discussed, but there's a limit to people's energy and time,
Mm-hmm.
you say. So I think letting people, just continue to let people know, like, your house is over 100 years old, get a decal on your window, or, any number, get your house on or put your house on the National Register, go through the process, if it qualifies, and if there's an advantage, the tax benefit, but, it's better,
Well, or just even protect it.
yeah.
Protect it from being torn down. I don't know. I don't know how, and I'm in a,
If people own the house and they don't care, it has to be initiated by the owner.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the owner doesn't care, the owner wants to tear it down and put up 24 units, there's nothing we can do. We've
Well,
had that-
maybe not. But if someone was looking at a house and read the title report and it said it was registered, I don't know. But here's what I can tell you isn't the solution. It's not to come down here and yell at these people and then go back and have bad thoughts about them. That's not the solution to this problem or any of the other problems that we have anywhere else.
That's true, but there's just some people who are angry, and they're just doing that. They're just broadcasting their anger. There have also been some very calm, well-researched, logical, well-organized letters and communications that have been sent in, so.
There's been
that's
very,
a model.
no, there has been, and I've had really great conversations with people. But nobody wants to understand the process. They don't want to understand why they are living in a scenario where this is being allowed to happen. And there is a process, and way more ugly things have been said than nice things. And they're often directed at me, and I cannot respond. So it's difficult.
Right.
I'm just saying. I understand from the letters and from the conversations that I have that there's feelings on that side of town. And would encourage us to reach out to them more and try and,
Yeah.
if there's an email distribution list that, I don't know. I don't know how to do it.
Well, some people don't have email, some people don't have computers, they don't get on the website because they don't have a computer. But I think also transparency and broadcasting things in a whole neighborhood rather than to just one or two people, I think that would go a long way, to just communicate. So that, that would be a great thing to see. More than what's the minimum required.
Okay, well, we're getting a little in the weeds here. If you want to discuss this after the meeting, we can. But I've had this conversation. What is enough? What is enough notice? And I explained this maybe to Planning Commission. 2-lot short plat on Buckeye, dividing one large lot into two. And I was screamed at that I didn't notice far enough. And I said to the gentleman, how far? How far is enough? 6 blocks? And he wouldn't tell me. 2 blocks, the west side of Argonne, and he wouldn't tell me. So to say that to me is very unfair because I don't have any discretion and I go by what the code tells me I have to do. Here's where I have a problem with that. No, I don't notify the whole neighborhood, but you know what I do notify the whole neighborhood about? A complete update of the zoning code. Do you know how many people showed up to talk about the zoning code? That was a 3 or 4 year process of going line by line through that document. I also notify the whole city about comprehensive plan amendments. You want to know how many people in 6 years have showed up to talk about comp plan amendments? I have public hearings that are broadcast across the world, and this is what I get. So I'm not understanding, and let me assure you, this isn't the worst I've dealt with. So this isn't a poor me. This isn't me feeling sorry for myself. This is me saying, you either want to know how it's done and why it's done and be part of the solution, or you just want to come and yell and then go home and have bad feelings. And let's be clear with ourselves about what it is that we're doing. That's, they can come and yell if they want. I understand their anger. I wouldn't want to live by a manufactured home park. I'm no different than any of you. But the code belongs to the people and nobody cares until something like this happens. So, thank you for allowing me my soapbox.
All right. With that, if there are no other remarks from commissioners, I entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting until our next meeting on May 18th.
Do you want to make a motion?
Oh, I'll do that part.
Okay. Do the first part.
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Oh.